This is the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast, a father and son's journey into the vast worlds of music. I'm your host, Mike Ficklin, and joining me on this epic musical journey is my son,
Michael Ficklin.
This show is dedicated to the discussion of music and introducing Michael to music from the past and present. We discuss music mainly from the genres of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. We also from time to time dive into film and video game scores, and we sprinkle in some surprises along the way. And this episode is our 1-year anniversary spectacular.
Dang.
Hard to believe we've been doing this a year, isn't it?
Dang.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
It feels like it wasn't that long ago when we started.
I know. Michael, what have you been listening to this week?
I gave the new Deftones record a shot.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, let's get into this real quick. Go ahead.
I want you to start, since you're so excited.
Yeah, man, I have been looking forward to this. The new Deftones record is titled Private Music. This feels like a marriage of old and new Deftones. It's got a heavy feel to it. Lots of the trademark ethereal ambiance that the Deftones are known for. I really enjoy the album opener, My Mind is a Mountain, as well as songs like, I think it's pronounced Ecodis, or Ecodisis. I love the dissonant sounding guitar riff on Infinite Source. I really enjoy the ballad I Think About You All the Time. Chino's vocal delivery is so heartfelt on it. Musically, it's got a beautiful mood to it. This album is making its way into consideration for top records of the year for me. To say I love this record is an understatement. This is my pick of the week, hands down.
I will agree with that. Yeah, the listen through was awesome. I think that's going to be noted down for the end of the year.
Yeah, man. Outstanding listen. Did they... I know this is kind of your real first introduction to Deftones. Did they remind you of anyone that we've listened to before?
No. Should have?
I feel like Loathe takes some influence from Deftones
I could see
in their
that.
music.
Yeah.
Lots of similar ambiance in their music. And I could be completely off base. Maybe Loathe is inspired by someone else, but when I listen to Loathe, I hear a lot of Deftones in their sound.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you been listening to?
I had revisited the Love record, actually, on that topic.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were listening to it.
It was just a random revisit, really.
Those are the best.
And of course, my big playlist and the big car playlist.
Hard to get away from that big car playlist, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, I continued on with my journey through Bellacore's discography. Listened to a couple more of their records. Listened to Stone's Reach. And I gotta say, I really feel the Opeth vibes on this one. Phenomenal songwriting. And then I also listened to Of Breath and Bone, and I absolutely love this album. The songs In Parting and The Dream and the Waking are standout tracks. Again, with the heavy Opeth influence on these guys, if you enjoy that older kind of prog death sound of Opeth, and you've never listened to Bellacore, you really should give them a try, because it's going to be right up your alley. Great stuff. I also listened to the new record from Chevelle titled Bright as Blasphemy. I've really enjoyed the musical direction the band has gone in over their last few releases. incorporating proggy elements into their alt-rock sound. The band has shown a lot of growth over the years and keep putting out quality material. I really enjoyed the Cowards two-parter, Rabbit Hole Cowards Part 1 and Jim Jones Cowards Part 2. The album closer, Shocked at the End of the World, is an absolute banger. My only real complaint is that it's so short. 9 tracks at 39 minutes. It left me wanting more. Also listened to the new live record from Pliny titled Live in North America. Pliny absolutely dazzles on this, his first full live record. If you're familiar with Pliny's studio work, then you know he is an amazing guitarist, weaving jazz and rock influences together seamlessly. He's got a terrific backing band with him on this live record. It's a very clean-sounding record. The recording quality is top-notch. Outstanding live release. Also got a chance to listen to Archaeologist's Duelist 2 original soundtrack complete edition. This is an expanded release of the soundtrack for Duelist 2, and it is a treat to listen to. There is a sense of adventure to the music. There's a lot of keyboard work on this. The metal sound is toned down and not as present. That's not to say there aren't some good metal moments in this, though. Take, for instance, the song Grimrock, Magmar's theme. There's a lot of variation in sound on this record. Each theme sets a different mood and tone. Some bright and chipper, some more dark and foreboding. I've not played the game before, but I thoroughly enjoyed the listen through to the soundtrack. I may have to give the game a try at some point. Michael, are you familiar with Duelist 2 by chance?
I am not.
You're not? Okay. Well, maybe we ought to check it out together sometime. The last thing I checked out was the new record from We Came as Romans titled All Is Beautiful Because We're Doomed. The latest record from the Troy, Michigan-based metalcore band finds them continuing on with their newer, djent-infused metalcore sound. If I'm honest, it feels a bit stagnant and shallow. Maybe it's just me and my fondness for the sound of the metalcore progenitors like Killswitch and Gage, but this is just a bit of a miss for me. It's fine for what it is if you don't have any reverence for what came before. It just didn't resonate with me. Even some of We Came as Romans' peers in modern metalcore like Spirit Box just seem to do it better and with more creativity. There's really no growth on it or progression from the sound on their previous record, 2022's Dark Bloom. I had certainly hoped for more. Michael, anything else before we move on to our next segment? Okay. So now we'll move into the art of discovery, wherein we take a few bands that are either unsigned or we feel are not getting enough love, and we play them on our show. We've got a great selection of music for our 1-year anniversary show here. We're going to kick things off with a metal band out of Finland. This is VISVA with their song Absence of Sound.
behind. This is what I fear the most. I am the enemy, a voiceless ghost. Oh, heart shall sorrow without sound. Oh, heart shall sorrow without sound. My songs have been sung. I'm lost to the devil of my town. My songs have been sung. I'm dying in the absence of sound. My songs have been sung. I'm lost to the devil of my town. My songs have been sung. I'm dying in the absence of sound. Follow our sound. I am the enemy, a voiceless ghost. Follow our sound. Dying in the absence of sound.
And once again, that was VISVA with their song Absence of Sound. This comes from their EP, Some Riffs I Wrote. You can purchase their music from their Bandcamp page, visvametal.bandcamp.com. Michael, what'd you think about that?
Dumb riffs. Wow. Amazing.
They brought it,
Yes.
right?
Amazing for the show.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I'm going to give it the recommendation.
Yes, sir. Straight to the playlist. All right, our next song is from a melodic death metal band from Finland. This is Scythe of Sorrow with their song Ghost in the Veins.
I see you shadow again. Erased from what you said. This ends tonight. Oh, God can stand the pain. You left me here. All alone to fall. Was it all a joke? I close my eyes. Memories start to grow. Now no one left to me. Can erase your name. And your voice remains like a ghost inside my face. Falling down, drowning in the rain. No escape, and nothing remains. Falling down, fading in the rain. No escape. Now. face again. Right in front of me, but you near the scowl. Running slow, you find your breath, it makes me sick. You ripped my heart, so I took your soul. I trusted you, oh fuck, you're so cold. Now I stand alone, wasn't worth the pain. You lifeless eyes, still scream my fucking name. No, rainbow so second chance. Now your fate, it is my hands. This love was a lie. You treat me wrong, and now you die.
And once again, that was Scythe of Sorrow with their song Ghost in the Veins. You can purchase their music from their Bandcamp page, scytheofsorrow.bandcamp.com. Michael, what'd you think about them?
It's amazing. Nice and heavy. Just amazing.
Yes, sir. Kind of give me Children of Bodom vibes. I know you've probably never heard those guys, but they definitely give me the Children of Bodom vibes.
Another recommendation.
Yes, sir. Again, straight to the playlist. All right, our final song for the segment comes from a melodic metal band out of Canada. This is Unfathomed with their song Returnal. And once again, that was Unfathomed with their song Returnal. That comes from their Redcast Sky EP. You can purchase their music from their Bandcamp page, unfathomed.bandcamp.com. Michael, what'd you think about that?
With that guitar riff. Solo, oh my, amazing.
Yeah, man. And I really love that acoustic closing, man. What a great way to close the song. Beautiful way to close it.
Yes. Amazing. Vocals, just all around amazing. That sounds like a band that is signed to a major label right there.
Right? Great stuff.
Wow. Recommendation of the show.
We would like to thank all three of the bands that allowed us to play their music on our show this episode. If you would like to be featured on the show, feel free to reach out to us via email at lightmovepod@gmail.com or reach out to us on one of our various social media accounts. We'd love to take a listen to your stuff, and if we like what we hear, we'd love to play it on the show. All right, and we'll move into our main topic. As mentioned at the top of the show, this is our 1-year anniversary spectacular.
Hooray!
Yes, sir. We are going to do several things for our main topic. We're going to revisit Michael's top 5 records of all time, and we've got a lot of surprises along the way, so let's jump right on in, Michael. I know that you've been hard at work trying to figure out your top 5 records. I know it's changed. I can't wait to get into this. So without further ado, Michael, kick us off with your number 5.
So, can I name off, what it was last year?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, please do.
Alright. So, last year, it was 5150 by Van Halen at my number 5. This year, it is Love's album, I Let It In, and It Took Everything.
All right. I love that album from Loathe, man. That is one of my absolute favorites. Lots of really good songs on that record.
Stand-ups.
Tell us a little bit about it. Why is it making your list?
Just Deftones and Loathe are just very... I'm going to put them together because I think they deserve their own thing there. But I feel like they have a very unique sound from other bands.
Lots of atmosphere and mood. Great songwriting.
Yes. Standout
Particular
tracks.
Favorite songs?
The immediate standout track for me, Is It Really You?
Yeah, man. That's my personal favorite track.
I feel like it becomes everybody's at one point in time.
I gotta mention Two-Way Mirror also, which is a really good song.
I love that song. Another standout track, New Faces in the Dark.
Yeah.
An Aggressive Evolution.
Yes, sir.
And also a sidecar tune. You would have murdered me if I didn't put that on there.
Great choice.
Yes. All right, let's get into your 5.
So, my list has not changed. In order for my top 5 all-time list to change, something has to come along that's really just blown me away, right? Or has, changed my perceptions of what great music can be. So, my top 5 list has not changed.
All right.
My number 5 is Anima by Tool, and it remains as such.
I was honestly debating on it going up there.
I don't feel like you listen to that one nearly as much as, say, the Loathe record. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard you mention that you've listened to it at all since we did the show on it.
It's technically on my giant playlist, and it comes on every once in a while.
Good stuff. All right, Michael, what was your number 4 last year?
So, number 4 last year was P3, which is also known as Periphery. Why can't I think of the name?
Yep, it's Periphery 3 Select Difficulty.
Yep, thank you. W support. For my number 4 this year, it's gotta go to the first Good Apollo record by Coheed and Cambria.
Interesting. Okay. And why is that?
The songs on that album are really good.
Yeah, they're really strong.
Yeah, here, I can name you a few. Welcome Home, 10 Speed. A lot of the songs are just amazing. But real standout ones are Welcome Home and 10 Speed for me.
10 Speed is my personal favorite. I do like Welcome Home a lot. I also like The Suffering. That's a really good song.
Mm-hmm. I think your opinion aligns with Spotify.
Oh,
it goes, so I wouldn't say about 10 Speed. So 10 Speed has 19 million plays. Welcome Home, of course, is their most popular song with 155 million. And then The Suffering is 44 mil.
Is that where does that place? Is it like number 1 overall?
So The Suffering is in 3rd behind A Favor House Atlantic.
Interesting.
A Favor House Atlantic is 59 mil.
Okay.
But just an awesome album.
It is fantastic. And you got to see them play at least Welcome Home.
Yeah.
When we went to see them live earlier this year, and I think they made an impression on you.
Here, I can tell you exactly what they played off that record. I think it was just Welcome Home.
Yep. Some other standout tracks for me off that record are the Willing Well Suite, which is the suite that closes out the record. All 4 of those songs are outstanding.
Yeah.
My number 4 all-time record, again, has not changed. It is The Amazing El Cielo by Dredge, which we covered on the show earlier this year, and I waxed on and on and on about that. I love that record so much.
So, fun fact, that is a runner-up.
Is it?
Yes. It would have made my top 5 if some other albums weren't on here.
All right. Well, I'm interested to see where this goes then. What was your number 3 from last year, sir?
So, number 3 was What It Is to Burn by Finch. This year, P3 has moved its way up.
Periphery 3 moves its way up to number 3.
And fun fact, it is the only Periphery album on my top 5 this year.
That's exciting. Because if I remember right, I think you had more than one Periphery record on your list last year.
I had 3 of them on my end last year. I can't just put Periphery 3 down.
There are so many great songs on P3. So many hooky songs. The Way the News Goes, Marigold, Absalom, Catch Fire. I know I'm skipping over some that just aren't springing to mind immediately. Flatline.
I was about to, Loon.
Yeah, Loon. Just amazing songwriting on that record. Amazing musicianship.
And my first introductory to heavy metal /
Great
prog.
stuff. So my number 3 all-time record remains OU 812 by Van Halen.
I assume that one would stay up there.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I mean, I could waffle back and forth really between that one and 5150.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, OU 812 has just resonated more with me. So that's why it maintains its spot on my top 5 all time.
And that is fair.
Michael, let's move along to your number 2. What was your number 2 from last year?
So last year it was P4.
Periphery 4 last year.
This year it is 5150.
Van Halen's 5150.
It has made a jump.
Big jump from 5 from last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Over the past year, I have actually started diving into more Sammy era Van Halen and some of David Lee Roth era. And 5150 just sits with me as the best.
Yeah. It was my first love as far as Van Halen was concerned. I absolutely love that record. It's fantastic. The band is absolutely on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy is absolutely on fire. Ed, there's that record outside of the final track is flawless.
You know, the final track doesn't exist. We don't include that. That never appeared on the record. It was just a bonus.
But songs like Summer Nights, the title track, Dreams, Best of Both Worlds, Love Walks In, all phenomenal songs.
It's perfect until bonus track.
I know that last track on the record was put on there mainly as kind of a joke. They're having a good time and stuff, but it's not good.
Hey, it's became the joke when we don't we think something is like that.
Yep. So my number 2 last year and remains as such is Periphery 3's Select Difficulty.
Yeah.
So we have something in common on our list here.
Technically, we have 2. Because you did say it does flip-flop between 5150 and OU8.
Yeah, but OU 812 is what's on the list. All right, Michael. What was your number 1 last year? Or do you want to go through some honorable mentions first?
Honorable mentions.
Okay. Let's get into it.
The Opeth record that came out last year definitely made it up there. Also the
Devin Testament.
Yep. Also the Devin Townsend record.
Power Nerd.
From last year. Yep. And the Dredge album are my standouts.
El Cielo. Well, now you've got me interested. What was your number 1 last year?
P2.
Periphery 2. I believe the subtitle on that one was This Time It's Personal.
Yep. The last song I listened to on Spotify was Luck as a Constant.
All right, Michael. What is your new number 1 of
I
all
want
time?
you to guess that. I want you to take a few guesses.
Oh, it's hard to say. I don't know. I'm going to take a wild stab. I may be incorrect here, but I'm going to take a wild stab at it here.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go with Killswitch Engage's Alive or Just Breathing.
You are incorrect.
Okay.
My number one is The Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters.
Interesting. So that is a record that we have not covered yet, but I know that you and I have spoken about and listened to in great length outside of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That is my personal favorite Foo Fighters record. Let's get into it. What do you like about it?
It speaks for itself. It's just awesome. The drum work, the guitar work, and the iconic songs on this record.
And there are a lot of them.
Yes.
I love Monkey Wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Johnny Park. Everlong.
Mm-hmm.
February Stars. Walking After You. So many phenomenal songs on that record.
Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody knows Everlong. It's kind of like a song, like that riff is something that you've probably anybody's heard. Just based on the Spotify plays, I gotta do some dividing out here. What is the world's population? The plays on Spotify is at 1,496,000.
I would assume by far they're number one.
By a long shot.
Yeah.
The next song is the Pretend. Oh my god, I can't speak.
The Pretender?
Yeah, at 930 million.
Crazy.
And then it goes Best of You at 737, and then Learn to Fly at 694, and then My Hero at 529.
My Hero is another really good one off the Color of the Shape. Such a good song.
I think I really like My Hero.
Outstanding song.
I love the vocals on that song.
Yeah, man.
And then, of course, Everlong, if anybody's heard it, it speaks for itself. Everything about that song's awesome. Hey, Dad, you want to be sad?
What's that?
34 million. What do you think that goes to?
Oh,
It's on the Foo Fighters record. Hey, Johnny Park.
Not everybody has great taste. To me, that's the best song on the record.
The lowest played song is the self-titled track.
Yeah, so they didn't put the title track on the original release of the record. That came out on like an expanded version of the record. So
if we're talking non-expanded, it would be New Way Home.
Okay, yeah, that's the final track on the record.
And
I like that one too.
At 9 million.
Okay, fair enough.
I love how there's like 2 tracks, like 3 tracks that are like in the triple millions, / billions, and then the rest of the record's just like in double millions.
Popular record.
It looks so weird just scrolling through it.
Yeah, on a quick side note, my number one record remains the same as Blackwater Park by Opeth. Phenomenal record.
So, what were you not expecting on my top 5?
So I guess it's not that I wasn't expecting it, but I didn't think that you would go with a record that we hadn't covered on the show before, so you caught me by surprise on a couple of these. The Coheed and Cambria Good Apollo Volume 1 record you caught me by surprise with, and you also caught me by surprise with The Color and the Shape from Foo Fighters, so caught me by good surprise. So just rehashing real quickly, your top 5 records of all time currently stand at number 5, Loathes, I Let It In and It Took Everything. Number 4 was Coheed and Cambria's Good Apollo Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. Number 3 was Periphery 3, Select Difficulty. Number 2 was Van Halen's 5150. And number 1 was Foo Fighters' The Color and the Shape. I'm also kind of interested in hearing how Weezer's self-titled Blue album didn't make your list, because I know there for a while you were really hooked on that too. It didn't even make your honorable mentions.
It kind of dropped down. I think I just burnt myself out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's why I didn't really make it.
Good list, Michael. Very good list. Lots of good music on here.
At least it's not 3 Periphery albums on one one list.
To be fair, your breadth of musical knowledge at that point in time is not what it has become now.
Here, let me define my old top 5. Peak at 5. Just absolute cinema. Number 4. Peak cinema. Number 3. Sadness. Number 2. It's peak. Number 1, peak. How'd you like that definition?
Fun. Fun. See, Michael has a hard time not putting things in, like, D tier. It's all S tier.
Okay. Alright, if we're getting that way...
No, that's okay. We don't got to do that now. We don't got to do that right now. We got plenty of stuff to talk about still. So I thought for our next little piece of our celebration here, we'd take a step back and talk a little bit about ourselves and what prompted us to start the show. I think, for me, my background with music goes way back to my first memories. My mom has a cassette tape of me when I was very little singing the song For the Longest Time by Billy Joel. And I remember just being in love with music from a really, really early age. I loved songs like Jump by Van Halen. I loved Billy Joel. And I loved just about anything that my parents listened to. My uncle was a guitarist in several bands in the 70s and 80s. And he was always bringing home for Christmas stuff that he had been listening to, things that he was inspired by. So I got introduced to music like Van Halen and stuff from the Cars, just to name a few things. He was always making recordings for my mom and for my dad and stuff. So I grew up listening to a lot of music. And that is the stuff that really stuck with me growing up. And then as I got into my teens, I started kind of developing my own musical taste outside of the things that my dad and my uncle had listened to. I started falling in love with the grunge bands like Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and I fell in love with A Perfect Circle and Tool, and that led me down the rabbit hole to even further heavier music. I got into bands like Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage, and I've just never looked back. I just keep pushing forward. I keep discovering new music. I don't like to stay stagnant and keep listening to the same stuff over and over and over again. I like to discover new stuff. I don't want to stop discovering new stuff. I was so inspired by music that I decided that I wanted to take a shot at becoming a vocalist. I couldn't play guitar. I had a guitar. I had started to take lessons a few times, but I never really learned how to play it. But I decided I wanted to take a shot at being a vocalist. So I ended up in a band with a guy that I worked with, and it was pretty short-lived, but it was my first experience at being a vocalist. We recorded a few of our band practices. I've played some of that music for Michael. I'm proud of the fact that I had the guts to get up and do it, but listening back on it, it's kind of cringy. I was in a couple of other bands after that, one of which we did get out and do a show for. Again, not something that I'm particularly proud of, but the key part of that was that I tried because I loved music, because I thought that I wanted to be a part of that scene. And, you know, at some point you wind up growing up and realizing maybe it's not really for me after all to actually be a performer. And not to mention that the last band that I was in, I ended up leaving because of personal reasons. My dad had gotten cancer and my heart just wasn't in it. And then I got married and we had a family, and it's just been difficult to get back into wanting to perform again. But my love for music has never really died. Michael, how about you? Give us a little bit of background with you and music.
As far as I can think, I feel like my first experience with music was really like I think it was one Christmas I got a karaoke machine, and me and my grandpa sung a country song, and that is on video. I don't know where it is currently, but it is on video.
It'll be something to show your girlfriend when you bring her over to the house to meet us.
All right. And then, of course, a couple of years ago. Wow. That's insane. The more I think about it. It's been 3 years that I've been in choir.
Crazy to think about. Time flies when you're having fun.
But I joined choir about 3 years ago, and that's been really the big experience with music, other than me trying to learn guitar when I was a bit younger.
Yeah, that was something else I forgot to mention. You and I started taking guitar lessons before the COVID shut everything down. And we were having a good time with that.
Mm-hmm. And then COVID happened.
Yep, and then we stopped going. But I think that brings us to what prompted us to start the show. I'd actually been on Michael trying to get him to do a podcast with me for a while, but not musically related. I wanted him and I to sit down and do a father and son podcast where we go through and play through all of the Final Fantasy video games. He's never played any of them before, and those are my absolute favorites, and I thought it would be fun for he and I to kind of do this book club style walkthrough of all the Final Fantasy games. And I'm still somewhere in my heart of hearts, I would like to do that someday, but just don't have the time for it now. However, sitting around chit-chatting music with my wife and realizing how much music Michael doesn't know, and that's through no fault of his own, or really ours either, I just realized that nobody really listens to terrestrial radio anymore. And that's really how, you know, myself and, my dad and grandparents saw that's how everybody got introduced to new music growing up. So there's not any of that. It's not as prevalent with today's generations. And knowing how much Michael enjoys music, I approached him and I'm like, hey man, would you like to do this podcast with me where, I introduce you to stuff, you listen to it, and we talk about it. And he was all for it. And that was the genesis of this podcast. And I think we've had a pretty good time with it so far through our first year.
Yeah, I remember you, I think I was on a breaker, it was a weekend, and I remember you coming up to me and asking if I wanted to do a podcast with him on music and exploring music that I haven't heard. And I was like, sure. And I remember us going, like, trying to figure out a banner and stuff.
Yeah, trying to pick out a logo for the show.
Yeah.
Do you remember sitting down to record the trailer for the show?
Yes. We're sitting out in the living room. I remember when Mom came home.
Yep. It was your first time trying to read a script or read the pre-written statement, and we had to do a few takes of it. But you got it.
Few.
You got it. You
Yep.
ended up getting it. I was very proud of you. And, I am still extremely proud of you. You have made big strides from where we were at the beginning of this show to where we're at now. Made big, big strides, and I am so proud of you for that. Not just in the way of your musical knowledge, but in your comfort with doing the podcast, with speaking on the show, with your preparation. You're still growing, you're still learning, and it's just a proud dad moment to think about the fact that we've been doing this show for a year. And
I still find that insane.
I know. And I think our bond has gotten so strong through this show. Inevitably all things come to an end, right? Someday we'll probably stop doing this show. But this would be such a great way to look back fondly on how our relationship has grown, how you have grown. Yeah, this show is going to be full of amazing memories for us someday. All right, I'm done being sappy and sentimental now. For the next little bit, I thought it would be fun to have Michael revisit a few records that we listened to for the show over the course of the last year that I just didn't feel like he liked very much. And I'm not expecting that, all of a sudden on a repeat listen that it's gonna click with him or whatnot, but I am curious to see if his opinion or his feelings about the records may have changed with a little bit of hindsight and going back and revisiting these records for the first time in a while.
There may be some evolution.
Yeah, a little bit. So I picked out 3 records that I just felt like he wasn't feeling and had him go back and revisit these, and I'm just interested to see how things went for him. So the first record I picked out was from our 3rd episode, which was on Led Zeppelin's 2.
I didn't think that was the 3rd episode.
Sure was.
Wow.
It was the one that was right after 5150, which was the first record we covered. To Led Zeppelin 2, Michael, I had you revisit that one, and I'm just curious. Your feelings on this? Do you feel like it's any different for you from the first time you listened to it? Just curious.
So, my listen back through it, the more I realize how many iconic songs are on this album.
Lots of really good stuff. And it's easy to see, especially now that you've been introduced to so much other music, how influential Led Zeppelin is on the sound of so many bands that came afterwards.
I like the riffs on this album and the drum work and the vocals. I said, and I will probably say this a whole bunch more times, I can say that the taste for this album has officially evolved.
Good for you, man. I'm happy to hear that. Got any particular favorite songs?
I gave it a few listens back. I didn't really go for like picking out tracks that were standout. I was just listening for things to talk about and for me to understand, to like either say my opinion hasn't changed or it has.
Fair enough. Okay. So I guess the next question is, are you looking forward to the next Led Zeppelin record that we cover?
Yeah.
Awesome. And would you go back and listen to this one again at some point?
Probably. I
guess it's a little bit better than what it was before.
I listen to a lot of music. Just for a reference, there's 823 songs on my everything playlist.
My goodness. Yeah, that's a big boy. Do you just put it on shuffle when you listen to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I would be getting a whole bunch of Seven Dust songs for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's another band I was surprised didn't make your top 5. The next record that I had you revisit, Michael, was Rainbow's debut, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. I didn't really feel like on our first listen that you were really feeling it all that much. How do you feel on a subsequent listen?
Re-listening to it, the instrumental work and the vocals on this album are very good. I will say, my opinion did change, but I would not say it changed as much as it did for Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
The Rainbow album is kind of in the meh, like a C tier for me.
Okay. Now, I know you ended up giving it a pretty decent score when we talked about it and stuff, but I just wasn't getting the feeling like it was something that you would go back and listen to with any sort of regularity and stuff. So, yeah, there are certain records that when I go back and listen to our episodes when we discuss them, you have little to say about the songs, and that's how I know you just weren't interested. You weren't, it didn't catch your attention the way that some other things have. So I know that Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow is one of those records that some of the critics didn't really like either. They thought the songwriting was kind of dull and such. But I thought it was an interesting starting point for you, because not only is it your introduction to the great Ritchie Blackmore, but it's also an introduction to the phenomenal Ronnie James Dio on vocals and stuff. So we are going to listen to some other stuff from Dio. We are going to listen to some other stuff involving Ritchie Blackmore also. So this was just kind of an introduction. All right. So out of curiosity, are you dreading hearing more from Dio or from Ritchie Blackmore or Rainbow if it comes up again on down the road here?
I feel like I am not, but I kind of want to see some evolution.
You'll definitely see it. we are going to get into some of Dio's solo stuff, and I think you'll see the evolution, and you may even like it a little bit better than this. The last record I had Michael revisit was Rush's 2112. Now, I had Michael revisit this one because I felt like in our discussion about this record, he wasn't really appreciating the musicianship on it. And I know that he was kind of weirded out about the concept behind 2112 in general. So I feel like Rush is one of the most important bands to ever come about. And I really want Michael to appreciate them. So whether or not he does or not is another thing entirely. So Michael, what do you got on this on your re-listen?
Like I said for Led Zeppelin and Rainbow, the instrumental work is just amazing. Vocals are great. My opinion has changed. It has changed for the good. What did I give it originally? I'm honestly curious.
You gave it a good score, but in our discussion about it, you didn't have much to say about Geddy Lee's bass work. Mm-hmm. You didn't really have much to say about Neil Peart on drums or any of Alex Lifeson's guitar work. You were just kind of being sort of generalized about it. And
I think that may have also been before I started writing up notes, too. You gotta put that into account, too.
It's possible. Rush is a really important band. At least I think they are. Especially if you love progressive music, be it progressive rock or progressive metal or whatever. They are hugely influential. Geddy Lee is one of the greatest bass guitarists of all time. And he's just got one of the most iconic voices in all of music. And Neil Peart is an absolute icon and legend. He is not only one of the greatest rock drummers ever, but he's a hell of a lyricist. He's the one that was the primary lyric writer for Rush and had such a great imagination. So I felt it was important for you to be introduced to them, and 2112 is a really good starting point.
So I have one question. When did we cover, which episode did we cover Rush?
Well, let me go back in the Wayback Machine here.
Way back. I just found it.
We covered 2112 back in February of this year. So we're talking 6 months ago or so, roughly.
So it was episode 16.
Okay.
And it aired March 3rd. That was before I started writing up notes. I didn't start writing up notes until episode 22, which was Soundgarden.
Well, like I said, I have been very impressed with your growth over the course of time that we've been doing this show. So, very impressed. Are you, out of curiosity, going back to the Rush record, are you excited to hear more from them? Or would you go back and revisit this record?
Yes, I would go back.
Awesome. All right, so the next little piece on our fun little celebration of our 1 year anniversary, I put together some fun statistics from the first year.
Uh-oh.
So, we have reviewed 29 records from 28 different bands. Only one band has been featured twice on the show.
Oh.
And that's Van Halen, albeit with two different singers.
Yeah.
We covered 5150 and we covered Van Halen 1. We've played 84 songs from 69 different bands on The Art of Discovery.
Funny number.
Yes, sir. 13 of those bands have been featured in the segment on multiple occasions. The band that makes the most appearances at 4 is our friends Against I.
Oh.
We have provided advanced reviews for 4 bands. We have given 13 perfect scores, meaning both Michael and I gave a perfect 5 out of 5. We've had 2 guests appear on the show, Bubba Wheat and Zach McCrary, and I do want to give a quick shout out to Zach McCrary from the Comics That We Love. He announced today that the show was going on an indefinite hiatus due to just life changes and such, and I want to wish him and his family well and all the best. Do hope to hear more from Zach in the future. We have reviewed records from 7 different decades. We've covered 2 records from the 1960s, 6 records from the 1970s, 5 records from the 1980s, 4 records from the 1990s, 5 records from the 2000s, 1 record from the 2010s, and 6 records from the 2020s.
I think we've reviewed more in 2010.
Nope, just 1.
And that's P3. That'd be P3.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. But
We've hit a wide range of dates.
yeah.
Our most listened to time periods are the 70s and the 2020s. So, and really the 2020s is by virtue of the fact that we've done advanced reviews for a few bands. So, taking those out, the 1970s is the one that we've covered the most.
Yeah, it seems like the 70s is the most popular thing with us.
Well, to be honest, the 60s and 70s and even the 50s, and I know we haven't covered a full record from the 50s yet, but the 60s, 70s, and 50s were really the formative years of rock and roll. That's where all of the really influential musicianship comes to fruition. I mean, there's great musicianship in the 80s as well, but the 60s and 70s is really where it's at. Michael has listened to 28 songs from 27 different artists for the Michael's Journey segment. The only artist to be featured twice thus far on the segment is Marvin Gaye, which just so happens to be Michael's favorite artist on the segment.
Yep.
Songs reviewed for Michael's Journey have spanned across 5 different decades. The 3 songs from the 1950s, 12 songs from the 1960s, 5 songs from the 1970s, 7 songs from the 1980s, and 1 song from the 1990s.
Some would say we're stuck in the 60s.
Lots of great music from Motown in the 60s.
So, in other words, we haven't broken out of the 19th or 20th century.
Not for that segment, and I'm not so sure we will. So
We're not escaping.
the late 90s into the 2000s pop scene is not really my jam. So Michael has issued 25 perfect scores to songs featured in the Michael's Journey segment. So the final little thing that I thought we would talk about here in the main topic, what does the future hold for the show? Some things that are on my personal list. Number 1 is artist interviews. This is something that I've really wanted to do from the outset. I've never conducted an interview before, but this is a goal for the show. I don't want to come across as a starstruck fan. I've been listening to the Magnificent Others podcast with the Smashing Pumpkins' Billy Corgan as the host. I enjoy his interview style and his line of questioning. Artists seem to be more comfortable with his line of questions. I'm learning, and we'll see where it goes. I certainly would like to start doing some artist interviews. I think that would be fun. Another thing I'd like to do in the future is more top 5 shows. As we go further along and Michael is introduced to more and more music, I'd like to do some additional top 5 list episodes, things like top 5 singers, top 5 guitarists, top 5 albums from a particular band, etc. I think those would make some fun shows. I would also like to do some album tier lists. I thought it'd be fun to do like a tier list for a band as we get through their entire discography. I think that would be fun. Number 4 is get our website finished. I've been working on this thing off and on for like a year now. At some point it's going to get done, I promise.
Well, at the current rate where you're going at, that website won't be finished in probably in a decade, so
yeah, I need to get it finished up. It's just time as a factor. Something else I'd like to see for the future is maybe introduce a video element to the show. I don't know much about video editing. I know enough to be dangerous as far as editing audio, but I've never really done much for video. Maybe if I get some time to figure it out, maybe we'll add a video element to the show as well. Michael, is there anything that you would like to see in the future for the show?
The show to go on for years. Maybe decades.
I would like that too. I very much would. I don't know, maybe someday the record labels will be reaching out to us, wanting us to review everything. Maybe someday I can afford to leave my job and we do this as a full-time gig or something. Yeah, I know.
What?
Dreams of grandeur. So this brings us to our question for the audience. What are your personal top 5 records of all time? All right, so now we'll move into our next segment. This is Can't Wait. New music coming soon.
Don't even ask.
Michael, I have to because it's the 1-year anniversary. Is there anything on your radar coming out over the next couple of weeks?
Not radar, but wish list. I got my Christmas wish list for music.
Uh-huh. Same 2 bands as always, yeah?
What?
Carnival and Periphery?
I'm gonna change that Carnival one because I already know we're probably gonna get one.
I love that you slipped in the word probably there.
I'm gonna have to throw in Protest, the hero.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything out of their camp in quite a while, so I don't know if there's new music coming from them yet or not.
I would hope they would do the same thing they did for their latest album. I kind of like what they did with the history thing.
I do too. It's a really good record. I don't know that they would be going in that same direction, but maybe. For me, over the next couple of weeks, on August 29th, I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly. I think it's ELO, releases their new record Legacy. And then on September 5th, Green Carnation releases their new record, A Dark Poem, Part 1, The Shores of Melancholia. And also on September 5th, Slipknot is releasing a 25th anniversary edition of their debut self-titled record. So looking forward to hearing those. Recently announced, coming out on October 10th, Sammy Hagar and the Best of All Worlds Band is putting out a live record called The Residency. Looking forward to hearing that. There's going to be some other songs that we didn't get to see him do last summer, Michael, so looking forward to hearing that.
I hate the rain. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also recently announced, late 2025, The Reticent is going to release their new record, Please. And then, coming next year, Megadeth has announced their final record and tour. We're going to have to listen to some Megadeth, Michael. I think you'll dig them, especially knowing how much you liked Metallica. Megadeth, their singer and primary guitarist and songwriter Dave Mustaine was an original member of Metallica. I love Megadeth, and I'm kind of heartbroken that they're calling it a day. But, at least they're going to get to go out on their terms. If they get close, we ought to try and go see them. And we will move into our final segment. This is Michael's journey, discovering a song from the past. And today, we're going to get Michael's thoughts on Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car. The song title was based on a line in the Sherman Brothers song, You're 16. It was released as the first single from Billy Ocean's 7th studio album, Tear Down These Walls, which was released in 1988. Part of its popularity lay in its cutting-edge for the time music video, which features animation mixed with live-action sequences. The saxophone solo on the song is performed by Vernon Jeffrey Smith. Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car became Ocean's third and most recent U.S. #1 single, going to #1 on both the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and Hot Black Singles charts. It was also his 7th and most recent single to reach the U.S. Top 10. The song also peaked at #1 in 7 other countries, including Canada, where it was the country's most successful single of 1988, and at #3 on the UK singles chart, making it Ocean's 6th and final top 10 hit there. Without further ado, Michael, what did you think of Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car?
Just get in my car. I like the beats of the song, and the instrumental work on the song, and the vocals. It just makes sense why the song is amazing, and holy
Ionic?
yeah.
Are we discussing Star Wars terms now?
Iconic. There you go. And that's why you're gonna have to change up the issued perfect scores to 26.
Giving this one a 5 out of 5?
Yep.
5 out of 5 from Michael. And yeah, I agree, man. This is such a really good song. This is another one of those that lives rent-free in my head. I absolutely love this song. The chorus, in particular, is so hooky. And the way that Billy Ocean delivers the chorus vocals, it just pulls you in and begs you to sing along. The song is really upbeat and hooky. Really, really like the saxophone work on the song. It's one of those iconic 1980s songs that continues to resonate. I don't know what it is in particular about it that makes it, live on for me, but it's so good. Just so good. All right, Michael. On our next episode for your Michael's Journey segment, we're going to cover another iconic 1980s song. This time you're covering Dexy's Midnight Runners' Come On Eileen.
I was gonna ask you, do you want to call it audible on the next
Well, that's
episode?
actually what I was getting ready to ask you. So, Michael, I'm going to give us an opportunity to perhaps call an audible for our next episode. I had something else originally planned for next episode. However, both of us seem to have really enjoyed the new Deftones record. That said, do you want to cover Deftones on our next episode, or do you want to move forward with what I had originally planned?
We're calling that audible.
Okay, so for our main topic on the next episode, we are going to cover the Deftones' new record, Private Music. So make sure you come back and tune in for that. We are going to have ourselves our customary track-by-track analysis of that record. I think, as it stands, it may crack the top 5 of the year for me. So, looking forward to having that conversation with you.
Yes.
All right. With that said, we want to hear from you. We will read your emails and messages on the show. We have only one request. Keep them clean. There are several ways to contact us. You can email us at lightmovepod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on several social media platforms such as Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. Details on how to connect with us are in the show notes. We are part of the SPDM Crew Podcast Network. Check out all of the podcasts on the network by visiting spdmcrew.com.
If you like the show, subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform and share with your friends and family. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a variety of other platforms. We are also on YouTube. Can't find us on your chosen platform? Shoot us a message and let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us be found in the algorithm. Make them good, and we'll read them on the air. Are you in a band and you'd like for us to check you out and possibly drop a recommendation on the show? Shoot us a message. We'd love to check you out and give you a shout. We'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Leitmotif and Movement podcast this year.
Thank you so much for joining us on our first year of this phenomenal journey. It's been an absolute blast. Please keep coming back. Keep listening. Let us know what you think. Continue on the journey with us. I guarantee you're going to have fun. Take care and enjoy music.